Germany. When you hear that word, what do you think of? Big castles, busy cities? Germany has a long and interesting story full of big changes. From small tribes to a powerful country, Germany has changed the world. In this video, we'll explore the big moments in German history. We'll see how different tribes became one country, and we'll look at how Germany helped shape the world we live in today. German history isn't a straight line. It's a story of good times and bad, of being together and being apart. But through it all, German people have always found a way to rebuild and change. They've come back from terrible wars to build a strong and successful country. Their story shows just how strong people can be. Long ago, before Germany was even called Germany, lots of different tribes lived in the middle of Europe. These tribes were diverse in their customs, languages, and ways of life. They were spread across vast territories, each with its own unique identity and culture. These tribes weren't one big group, instead they were a collection of smaller communities, each with its own distinct traditions and social structures. They often interacted with each other, sometimes through trade and sometimes through conflict. They had their own ways of doing things and their own leaders. These leaders were often chosen based on their bravery, wisdom, or lineage. Tribal councils and assemblies played a crucial role in decision-making, ensuring that the voices of the people were heard. They were tough warriors and good craftspeople. Their skills in metalwork, woodworking, and other crafts were highly developed. They created beautiful jewelry, weapons, and tools that were both functional and artistic. They lived in forests and near rivers, very different from the big empires in the south. Their settlements were often small and scattered, blending seamlessly with the natural landscape. They relied on the land for their sustenance, hunting, fishing, and farming to meet their needs. But the Roman Empire was growing. It was a powerful and expansive force, constantly seeking new territories to conquer and incorporate into its vast domain. The Romans were known for their military prowess and their ability to assimilate different cultures into their empire. It wanted more land, so it moved north. The Roman legions, disciplined and well-equipped, began their march into the territories inhabited by the Germanic tribes. This expansion was driven by a desire for resources, strategic advantage, and the glory of conquest. That's where the Romans met the Germanic tribes. These encounters were often tense and could lead to skirmishes and battles. The Romans were intrigued by the Germanic way of life, but they also saw them as a threat to their expansionist ambitions. This meeting changed both groups forever. The Germanic tribes were exposed to Roman culture, technology, and ideas. In turn, the Romans learned about the Germanic tribes' resilience and their deep connection to their land and traditions. The Romans brought their language, laws, and how they built things. They introduced new forms of governance, legal systems, and architectural styles. Roman influence began to permeate the Germanic territories, leaving a lasting impact on their societies. They made roads and cities, changing the area. The construction of Roman roads facilitated trade and movement, connecting distant regions and fostering economic growth. Roman cities, with their impressive buildings and infrastructure, became centers of administration and culture. But the Germanic tribes were tough. They valued their independence and were determined to resist Roman domination. Their warriors were fierce and skilled, ready to defend their homeland against any invaders. They fought hard to stay free. The clashes between the Roman legions and the Germanic tribes were brutal and relentless. Each side sought to assert its dominance, leading to a series of intense and bloody battles. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in the year 9 was a big moment. This battle was a turning point in the struggle between the Romans and the Germanic tribes. It was a carefully planned ambush that caught the Roman forces off guard. Germanic tribes, led by a man named Arminius, beat the Roman army. Arminius, a former Roman ally, used his knowledge of Roman tactics to orchestrate a devastating defeat for the Romans. His leadership and strategic brilliance were instrumental in the Germanic victory. This win stopped the Romans from taking over more of Germania. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest forced the Romans to reconsider their plans for further expansion into Germanic territories. It marked the end of Roman ambitions to conquer the region. It meant the Germanic tribes would stay a separate group in Europe. Their victory ensured that they could maintain their distinct cultural identity and independence. The legacy of their resistance would shape the future of Europe for centuries to come. Hundreds of years went by. The Roman Empire, once a colossal force that spanned continents, crumbled under the weight of its own vastness and internal strife. The echoes of its grandeur lingered in the ruins scattered across Europe. In the wake of Rome's fall, a new powerful kingdom began to rise in Western Europe, the Franks. This burgeoning kingdom, with its roots deeply embedded in the remnants of Roman civilization, started to carve out its own identity and influence. At the heart of this transformation was Charlemagne, a formidable leader who would later be crowned Holy Roman Emperor in the year 800. His vision and military prowess expanded the Frankish kingdom into a vast empire. Under Charlemagne's rule, the empire stretched across much of Central Europe, encompassing diverse cultures and regions. His reign marked a significant shift in the political landscape of medieval Europe. Charlemagne's time as emperor was not just about conquest, it was also a period of intellectual revival. Known as the Carolingian Renaissance, this era saw a resurgence in learning, arts, and culture, with scholars flocking to his court. This cultural and intellectual flourishing helped lay the foundations for the Holy Roman Empire, a complex and multifaceted entity that would dominate Central Europe for centuries. It was a patchwork of territories, each with its own unique identity. Unlike the unified Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire was not a single, cohesive state. Instead, it was a loose confederation of kingdoms, duchies, and principalities, each governed by its own local rulers. These regions were bound together under the overarching authority of the Holy Roman Emperor, but the power dynamics were often fluid and contentious. Dukes and local lords wielded significant influence, leading to a delicate balance of power. The lack of a strong central authority meant that the Holy Roman Empire was frequently plagued by internal conflicts. Battles for dominance were common, as ambitious nobles and regional leaders vied for control and autonomy. The struggle for power extended beyond the empire's borders. Emperors, powerful nobles, and even the Pope in Rome were entangled in a complex web of alliances and rivalries, each seeking to assert their influence over the empire. Despite the constant power struggles, the Holy Roman Empire played a crucial role in shaping the cultural and political identity of the German-speaking regions. It fostered a sense of shared heritage and laid the groundwork for future unification. The empire also facilitated trade and the exchange of ideas across its vast territories. Merchants and scholars traveled along well-established routes, contributing to the economic and intellectual vitality of the region. In terms of governance, the Holy Roman Empire introduced a unique system of administration. While it was a loose and often fragmented structure, it provided a framework for managing the diverse and sprawling territories under its control. The idea of a unified German nation, though challenging to realize, began to take root during this period. The Holy Roman Empire's legacy would eventually pave the way for the emergence of modern Germany, a testament to its enduring influence on European history. Section 4. Big changes in religion. By the 1500s, Europe was about to change in a big way. The continent was on the brink of a transformation that would affect not just religion but also politics, culture, and society as a whole. This period was marked by a surge of new ideas and a questioning of old beliefs, setting the stage for monumental shifts. The Renaissance made people interested in old ways of learning and questioning how things were. Scholars and thinkers began to look back at the classical texts of ancient Greece and Rome, rediscovering forgotten knowledge and sparking a renewed interest in science, art, and philosophy. This intellectual revival encouraged people to question established norms and seek new ways of understanding the world around them. During this time of new ideas, a German monk named Martin Luther started a religious revolution, the Protestant Reformation. Luther was deeply troubled by the practices of the Catholic Church, particularly the sale of indulgences, which he saw as a corruption of true Christian faith. His bold actions would soon ignite a movement that would forever change the religious landscape of Europe. Luther said the Catholic Church wasn't doing things right. He famously nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church in 1517, challenging the church's authority and calling for a return to what he believed were the true teachings of the Bible. This act of defiance quickly gained attention and sparked widespread debate. He wanted to change things. Luther's message resonated with many who were dissatisfied with the church's excesses and abuses. He argued for a simpler, more personal form of Christianity, where individuals could have a direct relationship with God without the need for intermediaries like priests. His ideas spread quickly thanks to the printing press, a new invention. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the mid-15th century, revolutionized the way information was disseminated. Luther's writings were printed and distributed widely, reaching a vast audience and fueling the spread of Reformation ideas across Europe. This split the Christian Church. The Reformation led to a profound schism within Christianity, dividing it into two main branches, Catholicism and Protestantism. This division was not just theological but also political, as rulers and states chose sides, leading to significant realignments of power. Now there were Catholics and Protestants. The religious landscape of Europe was forever altered, with entire regions and countries aligning themselves with either the Catholic Church or the new Protestant faiths. This division would have far-reaching consequences for European history. Germany became a place where these two groups fought. The Reformation sparked a series of conflicts and wars, as Catholic and Protestant forces clashed over religious and political control. These battles were often brutal and devastating, leaving deep scars on the German lands. The 30 Years' War from 1618 to 1648 was a terrible war. This conflict, one of the longest and most destructive in European history, began as a religious war but soon evolved into a struggle for political dominance. It involved many of the major powers of the time and caused widespread devastation. It spread across the Holy Roman Empire and pulled in other European countries. The war's impact was felt far beyond Germany, as neighboring countries were drawn into the conflict. Alliances shifted, and the balance of power in Europe was profoundly affected. The war started because of religion, but it was also about power and who controlled what. While religious differences were the initial spark, the war quickly became a broader contest for territorial and political control. The ambitions of powerful rulers and states played a significant role in prolonging the conflict. Finally, the Peace of Westphalia in 1648 stopped the fighting. This series of treaties marked the end of the 30 Years' War and established a new order in Europe. The Peace of Westphalia is often seen as the beginning of the modern state system, as it recognized the sovereignty of individual states and set the stage for the development of nation-states. It changed the map of Europe, made the Holy Roman Empire weaker, and gave more power to the German states inside the empire. The political landscape of Europe was significantly altered, with the Holy Roman Empire's influence diminished, and the rise of powerful, independent states within its former territories. This new balance of power would shape the future of Europe for centuries to come. Section 5. Prussia grows up. As the Holy Roman Empire got weaker, a new, powerful area grew in the north, Prussia. Prussia started small but became important thanks to the Hohenzollern family. They were smart and good at war. They made Prussia bigger and stronger. They built a powerful army. Frederick II, also known as Frederick the Great, ruled Prussia from 1740 to 1786. He was great at leading armies and did whatever it took to win. Frederick made Prussia one of the strongest countries in Europe. He won wars against Austria and others, making Prussia bigger. He also made changes to modernize Prussia. He focused on education, the economy, and letting people have different religions. Prussia getting stronger changed the other German states. It changed who had power and made people think about all of Germany being one country, with Prussia in charge. But making Germany one country was still hard, and would take a long time.